you dirty, rotten adventurers!
No way! Go! Snow Kiss!
Previously, he had been a smelly gamer boy living in his stepmom's galvanized steel apartment until one day. While playing the game, he rage quit and tried to delete it, but ended up getting summoned into that world instead as the Demon Lord. Now with him getting his feet wet in this world, he has various underlings follow him around, hoping to one day reap the benefits of his knowledge. Episode 7. After taking out Carnival, a mid-level demon, he proved his strength to the people, gaining favor amongst them. Because of these events within the Satanist church, a girl named Tron is forced to meet with the leader of the Satanists, Utopia. He demands an explanation for what happened after sending in some of his strongest people. Utopia then orders Tron to send in the remaining people in order to take over the holy capital, knowing this is his last chance to prove himself. Meanwhile, while they are stressing about getting their butt kicked by our protagonist, Kunai watches as a clown does magic. With this clown looking like a complete bozo from his face paint and strange hair, everyone sees him as a weirdo. Apparently this man is actually an assassin from the Satanists Guild, planning on killing Luna. He then approaches the fat lady, who is a high-class noble, along with Yu, the mad scientist. She tells him that she likes his tricks, but she can show him something better. She begins cutting him up, eventually taking off both of his arms. She asks him which he wants back, to which he asks for them both. She places both of his arms back on, but backwards, claiming it's just a magic trick. Because they are backwards, she takes them off again in order to put them back to normal. Following this, she tells him that he needs to calm himself, revealing she smells the poison in his pant pocket. With this being said, he gets struck by fear, thus running away in a panic. On the other side of the town, Killer Bee, a busty maiden and older sister to Luna, fights some monsters like a boss. Alongside her is her right-hand man, Fuji, who also shows no issues in taking out various people. Then suddenly, two purple-haired zombie girls emerge and claim that Killer Bee will die soon. After they do this, she shoots them with magic and flicks them off like an absolute beast. This angers the older sister, so she prepares an attack, but the head soldier, Art, appears to take her out. As all of this goes down, the S-rank Chunin adventurer Mink fights monsters of her own. Upon killing them all, she heals the townspeople, showing she has more than just attack magic. They question how she can be so strong, but know someone of her power is too strong for them to understand. On top of the church is another S-rank adventurer, Organ, wishing she had a cooler teammate. Now, with the Satanists getting beaten to a pulp, they report back to one of the leaders explaining themselves. With each team having the same reason, they start to realize they have no choice but to all sacrifice themselves for the strongest demon possible. Before we continue, let's take a moment to answer the question of the day. What studio do you think animates the best, and why? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out in the next video. Now, back to the recap. Because of their summoning, it takes all of their lives, but in return, summons the Prince of Darkness, Oruit. With this man being one of the highest-ranked demons, possible things start to look grim for the capital. Angel, the eldest of the sisters, notices this presence and instantly sends in an attack. She uses a high-level barrier to encase the entire area while Killer Bee catches up to him. She tries to run into fight, but Fuji goes first, where he gets taken to the ground. Somehow he still lives, thus giving Killer Bee the hope to continue fighting on. Right before she attacks, Oruit sends in a killing zone around the entire capital, entrapping everyone. To counter this, Angel sends in her own zone, but it only covers the area around the castle. With Killer Bee being amidst this, all she decides it's about time she gets serious. She whips out her holy hammer, it being the strongest weapon she wields. Mink then arrives at the scene as well, revealing Killer Bee isn't alone. Before she strikes, Killer Bee attacks on her own, smacking the prince to the ground. Despite her attack, he shows no damage, but rather takes the hit entirely, allowing him to counter. He uses a magic attack to throw her to the ground, making Mink realize she needs some help. When Mink attempts to provide support, her attack gets blocked instantly with ease. Even after seeing his power, they think they still have a chance at victory. But soon after, Tron appears above them, dumping out Hades. This gives the prince a confidence boost, so he strikes the girls, taking them both out with ease. Now, with them unable to fight back, he prepares his next attack, thus ending the battle. Angel notices this, so she shouts out to her sister, but knows she can't help at all because she would drop the barrier. Kunai, on the contrary, watches all of this go down and wonders what Angel's issue is. He knows the other two girls are crazy, so he assumes she is as well. As he thinks of this, he notices Killer Bee get beat around, so he decides to whip out his administrator privileges to transform himself. he turns into his alternative personality, Zero the Dragonkin, and prepares to fight the prince. Because Killer Bee is madly in love with him, he talks smack to her, acting like a beast. He then orders Prince to get off of his girl, so he kicks her to the side in respect. Zero then emerges before him and asks why he smells like trash. This enrages Prince, so he attempts to strike, but gets countered before he can even land a hit. Following this, Zero reveals his backside to cause the prince to recognize he is the rumored Dragonkin. Although he knows things are grim, he is unable to counter Zero, punching him to the ground each time he stands up. He tells the prince that he should stop sleeping, kicking him into a barrier. This makes him even angrier, so he sends in usual attack, but it gets blocked with ease. Zero tells him that if he can't play with him, then he should just screw off already. Prince then questions his circumstances, and eventually decides to go kill Tron. With him having a blood-sucking ability, he kills the innocent girl who only wished to live a normal life. See, years back, she had been a filthy peasant with no understanding of why she was even born. That was until Utopia found her and decided to take her under his steed, not informing her who he truly is. As she thinks of her past life, Zero revives her by giving her a small candy bar. It ends up healing her wound and bringing her back to her senses. He tells her that she should thank him and smile for his help, but she has no clue how to do these things. On the other hand, the prince notices that he isn't only strong, but has healing powers as well. Because of this, he vows himself to take out Zero, turning into his true demon form. Now with him in his new form, Tron gets scared but stops when Zero informs her everything will be all right. His claims enrage the prince, so he rushes him but is countered by Zero with ease. He uses his strongest attack to block the demon's advances, thus shattering him into pieces and ending the battle. Killer Bee sees this go down and only gets more love-struck by him realizing just how much of a beast he is. Episode 8. Because Angel sees all of this as well, she also wonders who this man's identity truly is. Zero, on the other hand, puts up a finger, calling himself number 1 in the process. With the townspeople shouting out in glee for him, he decides to ignore them and focus his attention on Tron. He asks how she is doing, so she begins crying, rushing towards him in the process. Killer Bee notices this, so she makes advances on him as well, placing her chest on his back. She asks him to never leave her, informing him everyone on her belongs to him. Eventually, he gets away from them and reverts back to his normal form in order to meet with Angel. He formally introduces himself to her as the Demon Lord and says it's a funny nickname he has received. Per usual, he whips out a cigarette to chain smoke, causing her to question if he is truly the Demon King. He tells her that he is the real Demon King but doesn't plan on bringing the kingdom to evil. He also claims that he is good friends with Luna, making her question how this is possible. She asks what his intentions are, so he informs her what he plans on doing. He tells her to see his good deeds with herself, asking her to rejudge him after this. She wonders if he's planning on invading them or something, only assuming the worst. He then informs her that he plans on doing some research on the Seraph, one of the gods of this world. Because this person is the one who gives him power, she is hesitant at first, but decides to accept his request, granting him access to the library. With this being done, he stands up and takes his leave, having gotten what he wanted. Before he leaves, she asks him if he defeated the Demon King, to which he claims the so-called Demon King was a joke. This makes Angel realize he isn't just some claim to fame Demon Lord, with him easily taking out the Demon King. On top of this, thanks to him killing the demons and Prince, he was able to rack up a total of 1,200 skill points, making it easier for him to buy things in the shop. As he laughs meticulously to himself, his first friend in this world, AKU, arrives. With their relationship being like a father-daughter relationship, he is happy to see her. The two then head into the library to begin reading through the library, hoping to find more information about this world. While he reads, he talks about the demon side, wondering if they were the ones in the wrong. Although he didn't learn much today, he knows he can always come back, so he puts all the books away. Before he is able to leave, AKU asks him to read her a children's book. He accepts, of course, but it turns out to be some stupid story about a dog. Apparently it was thrown out and broke, so it attacked some adventurer, thus gaining its skills. On top of this, it found a female dog, so he decided to riz her up. In the process, they conquered dungeons, so he got tons of riches, eventually living happily ever after. After reading this, Kunai wonders who this book is even for, and what the reason behind it is. He thought children's books were supposed to have a theme or something, so it seems like a trash book to him. Despite this, he learned about the dungeon, so he wonders if he should go conquer one or two to get some items, because he is invincible against pretty much everything, but magic attacks he decides it would be in his best interest to find a magic defense item. As he walks back home, he sends AKU ahead, claiming he has some business to take care of. In reality, he just wants to chain smoke in a corner, but he gets stopped by a blonde girl. She appears before him and tells him she finally found him, causing him to wonder who this girl is. After further inspection, he realizes it's Tron, making him wonder how she found him out. He tries to shoo her off, but she demands that he bring out Zoro again. He refuses, but with her begging him, he is unsure how to respond. She then informs him that Zero saved her life, so she wants to see him again in order to properly thank him. After a bit of thought, Kunai eventually decides to let her meet Zoro again, under the condition that she has to work for him. Immediately, she assumes that means she needs to kill people, but he informs her it's nothing like that. Instead, he tells her that he is short-staffed at his place, calling her a runt again like how Zoro did. She accepts his request, so he takes her back to his spot, introducing Tron to the others as a previous demon girl. Luna notices her as a demon girl, so he questions his sanity, claiming there is the devil inside of her. He informs them that she is going to be by their side from now on, so they need to treat her kindly. He also includes that in his new area, he plans on allowing anyone to enjoy his amenities, whether they are evil or good. With Luna protesting this decision, he becomes more sure that she is in love with him. Because he has other plans, he tries to leave, but all of the girls rush to his side, preventing him. He decides to just take them along with him, teleporting over to the rabbit village. Luna questions how this is possible, knowing it was hundreds of miles away, but is forced to accept it. Kunai then tells Yu to get to work and help him build his ultimate building for his future. By whipping out his inventory, he summons his base to start as a base. After this, he places a first aid kit into it as well, thus upgrading it into a large hospital. To confirm its use, he checks out the inside and finds everything is good to go. She tells him that they could start even today, but raises the question by asking for how much it would cost. He decides to just let the people pay however much they think is fair in order to find the correct pricing first. To his knowledge, the various coins equal different amounts, so he thinks that a fair starting price would be something on the lower end. With this being said, Yu devotes herself to him, explaining she will treat everyone perfectly, all the while charging a low price. After doing this, she expresses her gratitude towards him, making him wonder if she was always this cute. Now that he has the hospital, he decides to spawn in a hot spring as well, making it a 3-story base with tons of different baths. Whether it's the baths or dining areas, he makes it into a large-scale inn. The bunny girls notice this all and wonder how he even managed this there, previously being nothing on this land. As the last part of his plan, he tells the girls that he will need their help with something. He invites them inside of his bath, explaining that he wants them to try it out. They explain that usually that's only something nobles are able to do. On top of this, he informs them that he needs to destroy their houses so that he can build casinos on this land. This makes them realize he has a scary side, showing he is only after the money. Even after all of this, Kunai has some questions about his business, knowing if he doesn't have a good employee, then it will all fall to the ground. He thinks about the various attendants he could bring in, knowing each of them will be a great help like how Yu is. He eventually decides on someone named Isami, a gunman who can easily protect the village from any incoming harm. Episode 9. When Isami first wakes up, he is stunned by the surroundings, asking what happened. Kunai quickly explains the situation to him, asking him to follow him around. After telling him everything that has gone down thus far, he thinks it must be some new kind of game or something. Kunai, however, tells him this is an entirely new world that is unlike the game he had previously lived in. Unlike Yu, he acts more normal, asking if this is some fantasy world that he used to live in. Alive, he seems a bit slow, thanks to his chain-smoking abilities. He knows that he needs to adapt to his new world. Kunai then informs her that Yu is here as well, so he begins tweaking out. He questions why he summoned such a crazy lady, showing her antics with the clown weren't the first time she did something strange. Isami then asks one last question, wondering whether their previous kingdom exists in this world. He informs him that it in fact is gone, causing Isami to get overjoyed. He asks what he plans on doing in this world, so Kunai shares his thoughts. He plans on doing the opposite from what he had previously done, and rather help this world as much as he can. Apparently, Isami has a serious sister complex, making Kunai sure if he introduces him to his girls, then he will become fond of one. To help Isami understand his motives, he tells him all of his plans about making money and helping out nobles. After hearing this, Isami starts screaming, thinking he got zapped by something. Kunai proposes he go to meet with Yu, but he protests this decision, claiming he never wants to see such a crazy lady. As he says this, she appears before him, which is soon followed by the other girls. They ask Isami if he is a lackey of Kunai, treating him like another grunt. Now, with things settled, Kunai heads outside in order to make a bit of money. He approaches the antique shop owner and shows him some old machine that he claims is an antique. With this item playing a nice tune, it stuns the merchant, thinking it's an otherworldly masterpiece. He decides to purchase it from him, but knows it's something he can't name the price on. He asks Kunai how much he wants, but this time Kunai asks him to appraise the item himself. Because music is only available to be played when an instrument is around in this world, he thinks it's something that he surely can't pass up on. He thinks of how much to pay, but eventually decides upon offering him 15 gold coins, knowing if he lowballs him, then it will only cause him future problems. Now with this money, Kunai heads into the dress store and asks him to produce 20 of each of these uniforms. With the tuxedo being a simple design that is easy to replicate, he knows this will have no problems. When he inspects the bunny suit, however, he realizes how lewd it is and wonders if he should make some for his own workers. Kunai then whips out some gold coins to pay for this, informing him this is only the down payment. He asks him if he can get it done quickly, to which the worker informs him he will get it done as soon as possible. With this amount of money being a huge amount to them, they rush to get the work done. Kunai doesn't stop here, however, going around town and spending all of his money lavishly. With only 3 gold coins remaining, he questions what to do next, eventually spending the night in the nicest hotel. That night he decides to switch to his other form, Zero, in order to wander around town as a hero. Before he leaves, he thinks of a backstory for him, knowing he can't continue to run off in a hurry. He also wishes to face a strong enemy, showing his personality as a dragon isn't just for show. He claims that he is the strongest person ever, reverting back to his original form at will. Meanwhile, Isami takes charge of training the young rabbit people, explaining to them how to clean the floors. He informs them in precise detail how it is all done, hoping to turn them all into the best of workers. In the women's side of the bath, when he enters, he notices the sexy outfits that he had ordered. At first, he thought they would look stupid, but eventually he warmed up to them. The girls tell him these outfits are a bit lewd, but he reminds them that they can earn lots of money if they throw some while wearing these fits. He then asks them to practice their greetings, so they do. As they do, he thinks about his younger sister wearing one of these outfits, wishing she was here. A week later, after opening up, he gets the fat lady to come by and try out the bath, where she is surprisingly impressed. She claims it's much nicer than what she has heard, but Kunai explains this is only the start. He tells her that he plans on transforming this entire area to be the best land in all of the kingdom. Also inside of the carriage happens to be an old man who introduces himself as Sambo. With him being on his last breath, the Fatso tells Kunai that he thought it would be nice for her to show him around here. Kunai asks if his condition is bad, so he questions how bad his eyes are injured. Sambo tells him that he got this injury taking on a magical beast while serving under the Commander Arts. Upon hearing this, Kunai guides him to the hospital, claiming his doctor can fully heal his eyes. Fatso apologizes for this in advance, thinking it is only causing him more trouble. Once they arrive at the hospital, he urges Sambo to sit down on the bed, explaining you will take care of him. With his eyes being surrounded by a venom, he apologizes for such an appalling look. Despite this, she continues to help him, explaining she can easily treat something of this level. Because she has the ultimate healing spell, she knows it would be too suspicious to just heal him in an instant, so she drops some medicine in his eyes. Instantly, he gets healed, causing him to burst out crying in joy. He looks around and asks Fatso how she got so big, claiming she is twice the size of the last time he saw her. Now with this done, he rushes out of the hospital with hopes of getting back to work. Fatso then decides to pay for the troubles, giving you one of the highest level coins. With this coin being worth 100 giant gold coins, it is essentially enough money to live off for the rest of one's life. Episode 10. 10 years ago, within the royal capital, Luna ran alongside her friend Eagle, a filthy kid who questioned why she was forced to run so fast. Apparently, Luna used to be a broke kid as well who had only one giant copper coin. She decided to herself that one day she would eat at the big mansion. Eagle informed her that is a far-fetched dream, reminding her of their standings. As they talk, a noble who lives within the mansion exits and asks Luna what she is doing in front of his place. He tells her to leave because her appetite is being ruined by how filthy the two are. This was the day when Luna claimed to her that she would become a holy maiden in order to show them her potential. They called her trash, but when she exerted her powers, they instantly became scared by her presence. From this day forward, she vowed to put in more effort than anyone else. A few years after this, she ended up becoming the full-fledged maiden and was tasked with working at the rabbit village. Although they thought of it as a punishment for her, she actually liked this, reminding her of Eagle. Now in the present, when she dreams of this during her bath, she overhears the demon lord's voice. He demands that she come and prepare everything for him. With the fat lady being by his side, she promised that everything was set up and ready for her. Kunai then enters the hot spring and shows the fat lady around, hoping she will like the amenities. With Luna joining them to help show her around, she begins to realize this isn't just some random building. First, they start with the public bath, then move forward to checking out all of the various baths. As she washes, she has one of the hot bunny girls come and wash her back for her, showing it's more than just a bath. On top of this, another hot bunny girl emerges and begins washing her hair for her. She instantly became stunned by the privileges she received, feeling as if she was in heaven. She claims that this is already enough for her to be happy, but Luna claims there is many more things she needs to see. She rushes her off to the next location where they soak in another type of bath. The fat lady wonders what this place is, only to learn it makes her skin silky smooth and healthy. Then they head into the herbal bath that treats all of their injuries by providing medical herbs. After this, they go to the hot spring, which makes her realize that Luna must be in love with the demon lord to put this much effort into helping him. Luna tries to deny it, but the fat lady sees right through it, telling her if she wants a chance with him, she should enjoy herself as well. The two then head into the salt sauna, where they first need to build up a sweat. Following this, they put the salt on their body and wash it off, giving yet another useless effect. Luna claims that it makes all of their excess skin fall off and replace the old skin with newer skin. As the fat lady does this, she begins to tweak out, becoming a bit too excited by the effects. While this happens, Isami is seen writing down the map of the village until he is interrupted by Yu. She asks him if he is okay with the locations of everything, knowing their buildings are in the back of the village. As they talk, he asks her how she even landed getting summoned before him, knowing she is crazy. He asks her if she has any new hobbies, claiming that she used to be in love with little boys. She explains that recently the only thing that is on her mind is helping Kunai. Yu realizes all of the new changes Isami is drawing up, wondering if they can really do all of this. With him making a business section, commoner section, and even bunny section, it seems he has everything planned out perfectly. As they talk, Yu proposes that she ask for the fat lady's help as well, knowing she had a big hand in deciding the capital's areas. Isami instantly protests this decision, knowing if he gets her help, then things will turn into a segregated area between commoners and nobles. He claims that it would be best to just let him do things, to which she agrees. Later that day, when Yu is tasked with checking up on Kunai, he begins to question the reason behind these checkups. He claims to be in perfect spirits, but Yu protests this, stroking his body up and down. She tries to enjoy him to the fullest, but he demands he leave already. To ensure he stays, she places her chest on him, but this only makes him want to leave more. That night, he finally decides to enjoy his bath, it being the first time he gets to bear his fruits. He thinks everything will be fine, but Tron soon enters, asking to help him wash his back. He demands she leave, thinking the others will think he is a pervert if he is seen by the others. After these events, he heads back to his room and attempts to watch TV, but as expected, it doesn't work. Episode 11. The next morning, he wakes up early in order to leave the girls behind so he can have some alone time. He writes them a letter not to chase him, then leaves for the capital. Upon arriving, he is noticed by various people commenting about how handsome he is. A few steps behind him, Yuki and Mika wander around wishing they could run into him again. As they talk, Yuki notices him in front of him, so he rushes to his side. With Kunai not knowing he is a cross-dresser, he treats him with respect. Mika then rushes up as well and acts like she has been longtime friends with Kunai. He tells them that he is here to get some information from the Adventurers Guild, with high hopes of finding some nearby dungeons. Yuki informs him that they won't ever help him, so he should just employ him for help. Mika, of course, protests this decision, claiming they can't just help the demon lord like that. Yuki then offers to buy him some lunch, but he denies his request, claiming he doesn't want anyone meddling in his business today. As he talks with him, he notices his silky, smooth skin, so he gets completely fooled by them. Yuki then offers to buy him a drink instead, so he decides to agree, knowing it's been a while since he has gotten drunk. Yuki grabs his hand to show him the way, but he protests yet again. For some reason, however, he eventually folds by Yuki's advances towards him. He decides to just put up with it for now until he gets to the bar. With it being the usual owner, she welcomes the group, but is stunned to see the demon lord behind them. Everyone else notices him and asks to buy him a beer, hoping to thank him for saving the capital many times. After some time, they find a seat and get some drinks, where the bartender informs him he can drink as much as he wants today on the house. With this being said, he decides it's about time he starts getting his drink on. Before he does, Yuki sits on his lap and tells him he will help him drink his beer. Kunai instantly denies this request, wishing he could just have some peace. After his first sip, Yuki steals it and begins drinking it as well, making lewd claims afterwards. He questions what Yuki's deal is, wishing he would just act normally around him. Following this, the bartender brings them some food on the house as well, hoping he will enjoy it. He tells her that it's good, comparing it to some trash food he had eaten in another part of town. As he tries to eat this, Yuki steals it and starts eating it as well, making more weird comments. Mika tries to explain that it's just Yuki's way of talking, making him realize he is a total pervert. He decides to hurry up the conversation and talk more about the dungeons, it being the only reason he followed them in the first place. Mika starts by explaining how adventures work and what they do in order to make money. With dungeons usually being taken out as soon as they emerge, it's difficult to get anything good from them. On top of this, they explain that rankings to him, making him realize the system works similar to how pro sports players manage, with guilds offering more money and benefits to higher-ranked adventurers. It's a lot like signing a contract to whoever gives the best offer. After finishing his sig, he attempts to leave, with thoughts that Luna is kidnapped in the Demon Lord's area. She thinks she has no other option but to ask for the goddess's help. She then teleports to the rabbit village, but to her surprise, everything seems normal. With tons of people working around the clock and building huge places, she wonders what's going on. She is then stopped by Isami, who tells her that she needs to get back to work. He asks what kind of person shows up to work dressed like this, reminding her they have lots of work to do. Because she is a bit frail, she accepts his work and begins mining the crystals he told her to do. As she does it, she wonders why she is even helping in the first place, but is soon interrupted by Luna. Luna asks what she is doing, to which Angel informs her that she is being tricked by the Demon Lord. She demands she head back to the capital, but Luna explains that life couldn't be better here. This makes Angel think she is being abused so badly that her mind has become corrupted. She asks how they are even building all of this stuff in the first place, knowing it would cost a fortune. While they talk, Tron appears before them, telling Luna to get back to work already. The two then rush off, leaving Angel to be left with the bunny girls. The bunny girls tell her that they will show her around the area, taking her to the bath. After explaining all of the amenities, she follows suit and gets changed into the appropriate clothing for a bath. Accidentally, she enters the men's side without knowing. She ends up getting undressed in preparation for her bath, where she notices all of the various baths. Episode 12. When she enters the final bath, she is greeted by the Demon Lord welcoming her inside. She assumes he is here waiting for her to ambush her, but he has other plans. He informs her that this is a place of peace, not somewhere to do anything sketchy. In reality, he just doesn't want his reputation ruined, having previously been labeled a pervert. Kunai informs her that he will listen to what she has to say, assuming she has something important to tell her. Before he hears her out, however, he throws her a towel to cover up, with her currently being butt naked. This makes her realize that she has been standing before him naked the entire time. Regardless, she decides to enter the bath to cool down, wishing she had realized what happened before. He then asks her to cut to the chase, already making her feel as if he doesn't even like looking at her body. When she attempts to explain herself, she finds herself staring at his muscles, causing him to take notice of this. He plays it off, conveniently hiding his true intentions, that he is unsure how to react. She then claims that seeing him in the bath doesn't faze her either, getting down to business. She asks why he has tricked the fat lady to move into this town, assuming he kidnapped her, like he did with Luna. He explains that this isn't what he did, but rather, she is staying here on her own accord. When she hears this, she rushes towards him and shows off her body some more, causing him to ask her to sit down already. After hearing this, she assumes he doesn't like looking at her, thus making her mad. She tells him that she knows he is doing something sketchy around here, but he informs her nothing of that sort is going on. Upon hearing this, she decides to trust him a bit, sitting down in the bath. As she feels the water, she becomes more and more relaxed, moaning in the process. She wonders what's happening to her, claiming it's a first for her. Kunai questions why she is acting like this, wishing she could escape all of the lewd girls who keep coming to him. He then informs her what he's doing here, claiming the bath makes one feel free. To show his appreciation, he offers her a drink as well, asking her to chill out. Although she is hesitant to accept this at first, thanks to her skills, she's able to discern whether it has poison in it. As she checks it and realizes it's all good, he informs her that the real poison is how the kingdom treats people. He claims that nobody has changed anything in recent years, treating the poor as worthless people. Because of this, he started this land and hopes to change the world's perspective on people. She then decides to drink the sake, where she realizes just how good it really is. After she sips on it, he snags it back and drinks the rest of it, causing her to think of it as an indirect kiss. He asks if she is a child or something, claiming it's just nothing weird from where he comes from. This makes her think of Killer Bee praying for her to find love while Kunai is chilled out. She claims that she isn't some hard-headed person, wishing he wouldn't treat her so meanly. After he hears this, he whips out a halo from his inventory, presenting it to her as a gift in the process. Once she puts it on, he reminds her that he isn't her enemy, asking her to treat him nicely going forward. With this, he disappears, leaving her to wonder why the Demon Lord would have an angel's halo with him. Later that night, she changes back into her usual outfit with the halo still overhead. He asks her how she got here in the first place, but she decides to hide the fact that she sacrificed her staff in order to teleport here. With this being said, he offers to help her back to her home, bringing her in close. He tells her to trust him here, teleporting them to the capital in the process. She realizes that he must be stronger than she thought, claiming the power of teleportation is only available to a god or angel. He reminds her that he is the demon lord, asking her to reconsider her opinion of him. He also asks her to keep quiet about this whole ordeal, knowing it would cause chaos if the people learned of his efforts. Before he leaves, he asks her to help her learn more about Seraph, revealing that he was called into this world by Orphan, the evil god. This makes her realize how he is so strong and why someone like Luna is drawn to him. On top of this, she understands how he can perform miracles like teleporting or having access to the halo. The building as well seems strange to her, so she wonders what his true intentions are. He explains that he has no ill intentions towards the gods, but rather he simply wishes to ask her some questions. He then leaves without another thought, leaving her star struck by how kind he is. According to legends, the demon lord was supposed to be an evil god that brought chaos upon everyone. She vows to one day bring him back to the good side and help him regain his former glory as an angel. That night, AKU finds him and asks where he has been this entire time. Instantly, she gets on his lap and welcomes him home, making him feel a bit uncomfortable. He reminds her that he is a guy, but she shows nothing wrong with this thinking of him as a father figure. As he comforts her, Luna notices this and asks if she isn't enough for him. He ignores her and informs her that he groomed her sister today, then brought her back to the capital. After he clears things up, he heads to bed only to find himself surrounded by all of the girls per usual. He wonders how things ended up this way, wishing he could just live a normal life. The next morning, like last time, he leaves without a word, telling Yu and Isami to watch over the village as he gets some things done. They accept, and Kunai heads to the city of Rookie, where there is a rumored dungeon that is mostly unexplored.